Hey guys, welcome back to Dice and Easy Games. Paul's back in here again today.
Back at it again, yeah, definitely.
And we are playing Kings of War, but not on the big scale. We're playing with 10mm scale.
Absolutely. So we're channeling the old War Master feel, but we're using the Kings of War's rule. We did so over the summer and had an absolute blast, didn't we?
Yeah, we found that the games went really smoothly, really quickly, which is the key thing, because we'll go through it when we play the game, but you do all your dice rolls in your turn, so it makes it quite smooth. And we're hoping to get through 2 games tonight. That would be awesome, and really just showcase how great we think the system is.
Absolutely. So it's my Lizardmen. We've rolled for the kill. It's a kill, no invade. We're doing invade.
We're doing invade.
We're doing
That's
invade.
Right. We know what we're doing.
We do know what we're doing. So it's my Lizardmen taking on your amazing looking Wood Elves and rumbling from the jungle towards the woodland. And you're there to stop me.
Yeah, we don't like other people coming on our land, our turf, get off my farm type thing. We're gonna repel the Lizardmen, so it's all gonna be about area control of the board. Yes. So we've got some fast moving units, so hopefully they'll come to the fore, and yeah, should we get started?
We will do. The winner will be the person with the most units in the other person's deployment area.
Yes, the tactics. I remember the tactics.
So first turn for the Lizardmen, I have done at the double, which means I can move double my speed, but I can't do anything else the rest of my turn, so I'm just going to have to wait and hope that Richard doesn't get too close, and hope turn 2 brings a lot more chompy, bitey, slashiness.
Just what you want to have.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so the elves pushed up fast, being slightly nimbler on their feet. The hawk riders on the right are going to go down with the pterodons, I think. Otherwise, just trying to cover the river crossings and protect my borders. Unfortunately, my archers did absolutely nothing, which I'm not used to with elf archers. Normally in like Warhammer, they hit really well. These guys, not so much, especially when they move. So I'm going to have to weather the charges from the Lizardmen this turn, and that's what worries me.
End of the second turn, the skink archers have unleashed hell on the stag riders there and managed to do 1 wound. So that's not too bad at all. Elsewhere, the other skink archers fired at the tall spears and did absolutely nothing. Here, my plucky pterodons have taken on the warhawks in what can only be described as a medieval dogfight and managed to do absolutely nothing except for flap wings and squawk at each other. So fingers crossed for next round.
Yes, so it went a little better for me than I thought it would, and maybe I'll do some counter-charging.
Happy days.
Okay, so I have an interesting choice here with the Silver Breeze Cavalry, whether I charge the Skinks, who I know I'll just run roughshod over, or the flank charge on the Saurus Warriors, which seems obvious in the flank, but that fence in the way means my charge is hindered. So I'm getting double attacks for the flank charge, but -1 to hit because of the fence. So let's see how this pans out. Right, loads of dice coming up. Hitting on 4s. So in Kings of War, you roll against the defence, which is 5+ for the Saurus, but I've got Thunderous Charge 2, which means I reduce that roll to 3s. That is brutal.
Ow, okay.
So leadership is handled as a nerve test, so I'm going to roll against your nerve and add the damage you just took. So that is a 17. So what's the stat for the unit, Paul?
Well, I'm a regiment. 14 is nerve. Getting a 16 or more will cause me to be routed and leave the board.
The Warhawk Riders here didn't actually kill, or do much damage to the pterodons. You don't kill models, but they did roll high against the nerves. They are wavered, meaning they're kind of stuck in combat and don't have a lot of options. And over on this side, as we saw, the elves on the stags rode down the Saurus Warriors and then turned to face the skinks and put the ball in your court, Paul.
Absolutely. Or got ready for a dessert of tiny lizards.
One or the other.
Halfway through turn 3, I'd like to say tables are turned, but I won't count my changes just yet. The Lizardmen on this side have charged into combat with the tall spears and try and take the ford. The skinks have absolutely peppered the bowmen at the back here and caused them to be wavered. And that basically means that they have a limit of what they can do for the next turn. Over this side, things are just about to get juicy as my cold ones have charged into the flank of Richard's Silver Riders.
Yeah, that worries me a little bit. It started with your good luck here, wavering them on just one wound dealt, but let's see if it holds out here, Paul.
Fingers crossed. Okay, so the cold ones, because they've gone into the flank, they get more attacks.
Double?
Double the attack. So I've got a basic stat line of 16 attacks. I'm now getting double. I've also got Thunderous Charge, so that reduces 1 to hit on yours. And I've also got Crushing Strength as well. So this is going to be really, really messy.
Go on then, what you got? That's a reasonable hit.
Reasonable at all, yeah.
Oh, that Crushing Strength and Thunderous Charge reduces the roll to a 3+. That's 5 damage, and you've got to do it again.
Yeah. Oh. Hitting on 4s again.
Oh. Good lord, that's another 8 damage. That makes them... Oh god, I've got to get another dice now, Paul.
Another dice.
Oh dear. Okay, so their nerve value to rout is 13. So we're adding 14 to whatever Paul rolls. So a double 1 is all that's needed for them to stick around, otherwise they're dead. I've
got form for rolling badly, so wish me luck.
They're toast. Smeared across the battlefield. Right, so although these are Hawk Riders, I'm using the Dragon Riders stat because it fits. So you think that they're going to be impervious to damage, but what happened, Paul?
Well, the pterodons basically just tore them apart.
You didn't do that much damage. Look, 3 damage.
3 damage, and then you failed your route wavering test. Yeah. So it's the screeching. It's the scary, flappy screeching. That's all it is. Wow. So a fantastic turn. Well done, my scaly friends. Pterodons were locked in combat and have managed to rout the Hawks.
Yep.
Surprisingly, the Skinks had a fantastic ranged attack and pinned those elves at the back there. The Sauruses and the Spearmen are locked in combat, and that could go either way in the next turn. So I think you've got a bit of a chance there, Rich. But the stars of the turn have got to be the Cold Ones, who have minced through Richard's cavalry and have now turned and set their beady, cold-blooded eyes on the Spearmen going across the ford. So it's getting a little bit dicey.
Yeah, I've got to remember this is territory grabbing, so maybe I'll try and move around you, but we'll see how that pans out. So these guys are shooting the Skinks, and I said to Paul, well, this won't amount to much, because they hit on 5s. Ooh, let's find out what the wound on Paul was. Okay, so actually it's 3+, so yeah, take 3 damage on them, and I'll quickly see if they rout.
Legolas is proud.
Oh, never mind.
Never mind.
Alright, so the tall spears here put a few wounds on the Saurus, as did the Elven Prince with his Mace of Crushing. So let's see if I can waver or rout these guys. Ooh, 7+6, that's 13, Paul. What does that do?
And we rout on 16.
So nothing! These guys lose their waver token since they weren't able to do anything this turn. Great little fight here on the ford. The tall spears and the Prince really did their work there. The Forest Shamblers, great name, didn't do such a great job on the bridge versus the Croxagore. I imagine next turn's going to be painful. And over here, we're just awaiting imminent death, really. So given that Paul took out 2 of my heavy-hitting fast units in the first 2 turns, we may be on a bit of a bounce back.
Cool. So the Cold Ones are continuing their dinosaur rampage. One that Godzilla, I think, would be absolutely proud of at this point. And they've turned their attention to the tall spears. They have charged.
Go for it, Paul. What we got? Oh, mate, considering I've got the phalanx rule on my spearmen, because this game accounts for cavalry not supposed to be directly charging spearmen. But apparently when you're riding dinosaurs, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. When you're riding dinosaurs, the world is, you know, you're I need 3s or higher to wound, because my dinosaurs are really bitey. Nice.
Nice. So what's that? Another 6. All right.
So I have rolled to see if they waver or rout. I have got 4 plus the 6, which gives us a 10. Richard.
And they're 14/16s. They don't even waver. They're just going to stand there and fight.
They laugh in the face of dinosaurs.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, turn 4, penultimate turn in Kings of War.
Yeah.
My Skinks have made a dash for the other side of the board to try and get some points, you know, play tactically. The tall spears have done a fantastic job of withstanding a fairly horrendous charge from the core. On the bridge, our monstrous creatures are just slugging it out and going toe-to-toe. It's really, really balanced there. I think next time one of us will waver and go. Fairly even between the Saurus and the Elven Spearman on the ford here. I think you have got it just with that 6 on me, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
And then the Pterodons are worrying your elves at the back, and I'm hoping to get rid of them next turn and claim some more points. But at the moment, there is most definitely more Lizardmen in your deployment zone than elves are in mine.
Yeah, it's a big worry. Well, your predictions came true, Paul, as the Shamblers here dealt a couple of wounds to the Croxigor. I got an incredibly lucky roll on their nerve test, and they are routed.
They are gone.
The bridge is mine.
Right, so continuing Richard's good fortune and good rolling, yeah. Rich, what happened?
The Tall Spears put a couple of wounds on the Saurus, which is now built up to 10. With a very high roll, I routed them, but the Skink Priest is very inspiring. Means I have to re-roll the rout test, but it was still enough to send them running.
They're gone. Bye-bye. Extinct.
Yep, so the archers here did a really good job of wavering the skinks over there to stop them returning fire. However, a serious risk of these pterodons running around the back of them and scoring those points. The river, as you saw, went very well, driving off the Saurus and the Shamblers doing the Croxigor in. And the Spearmen put a couple of wounds on the cold ones, but they don't have the phalanx rule now. It's second round of combat, so they might be in a tight spot. And my archers here, after doing literal nothing all game, have pinned these guys by wavering them, and they now can't move into my deployment zone in the last turn of the game to gain points. So those archers have done me a solid there.
I think they're just on the warm rocks by the riverbank.
Yeah, sunning themselves for a recharge.
Yeah.
Well, your last turn, Paul.
Here we go. End of my final turn, turn 5, and we're looking fairly healthy. The cold ones have chomped their way through the Spearmen and have moved on to the ford. They're not quite in the deployment zone, but I'm really happy with that. The Skink Star Priest down here, or the Skink Mage, whatever you want to call it, lobbed a lightning bolt at the Elven King and did a little bit more damage. And I think what may have won it for me, unless Richard's turn 5 is something of epic proportions, are the Pterodons here, who are firmly in the deployment zone of the elves and therefore scoring points.
Okay, I didn't have many choices with the Forest Shamblers because they can't at the double, i.e. March. So instead they decided to try and beat up the Skink Priest, which apparently is going very well. Yes, they've got a pretty good to hit roll, and they get extra crushing strength, which means they get to modify their wound roll, and normally a skink is 3s, Paul?
A skink is indeed 3 up defence, yep.
So take 7 wounds.
What do you expect? It's a tree versus a lizard.
In no surprise to anyone, they've smashed him across the landscape, and he has routed, which also represents getting smushed.
It's how you'd expect it to go with a tree hitting a gecko.
Yes, pretty much. The Pterodons have nipped around the back, as Paul showed before. I couldn't really do much in the centre here other than move my units up. Those Shamblers have smushed the Skink, and the Archers that finally realised what they're supposed to do put a single arrow into the cold ones, but it was not enough to do anything to them. And based on that and the Pterodons, Paul, you have secured victory.
Victory!
Didn't get off my land, did you?
No, I did not. Wow.
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 That's fun.
It really did. And that's one of the things that we love about Kings of War, is that it is on a knife edge throughout. And just the dice rolls, a bad dice roll, just does it, doesn't it? Yeah,
and any unit, small or badly wounded, can get a bit lucky and achieve something, especially when you play to the objective like Paul did.
Absolutely.
Which I forgot to do. And yeah, I think because you held me at the river really well, I couldn't get across, and your mobile units just ruled the day there.
Well, I was really lucky, and I took out your mobile units to start with. And again, it was, you know, with Kings of War, you can have all the tactics you want, but it comes down to those dice and how well you roll.
For sure. I love the system. We played through that game in a really quick fashion, given we were checking quite a lot of rules, as it's been a while. And yeah, overall winner, and what a punch-up.
What a punch-up. My unit of the day has got to be the Cold Ones, because they absolutely chomped their way through 2 regiments. So, yeah, well done, boys.
I think for me it's actually the tall spears, which I guess it should be in an elf army, is just spears to hold the ground and not give way to those cold one charge. Yes, in the end they got them, but they held their ground, and then fighting through on the middle, I think they did a really solid job. So great unit.
Great game, Rach. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great.
Excellent. Cheers.
See you guys soon.